Okay, here we go. So the law of sines is not that bad. Okay, so have your calculators out because I want you to do a problem. Okay, so the sine of A here is the sine of 60. And BC, its opposite side, is 5 square root of 3. So on your calculator, I want you to take the sine of 60, then press the equals button, then press the divided by button, and then press the parenthesis button and go 5, and then press the square root button, and then 3, and then parenthesis. Do that in that order and give me the answer that comes out. 0 point, it's more than just 0.1. It's got, give me four numbers. 0.1 what? Oh, 0.1? All right, sounds good. Now, let's do this. Let's take the sine of C over AB. So the sine of 30 divided by 5. What is that going to be?
0.104.
The sine of 30, press equals, and divided by 5, press equals. Make sure you do these in separate steps when you do this stuff, because otherwise it doesn't work. 0.1, right? These are the exact same, which means the sine of this angle over its opposite side is the same as the sine of this angle over its opposite side. Let's see if that works for these two. What's the sine of 90 divided by 10? So you have to press the sine of 90 equals, and then divided by 10 equals. What do you get? 0.1. Okay? So the law of sines is this. The sine of A over its opposite side equals the sine of B over its opposite side equals the sine of C over its opposite side. Okay, if you want to write this down, you sure can someplace. Okay, if you don't want to write it down, that's all right. It's an easy formula to remember. Now, when we get law of cosines, I will write that on the board and keep that on the board for you because that's a little bit harder. But the law of sines is the sine of an angle over its opposite side equals the sine of an angle over its opposite side. We set up a proportion, we cross multiply, we solve, and we got it. You just got to know how to run your calculator. Okay? Okay, here we go. We're going to do this thing. So, I want YZ. Now, we name the side with the lowercase letter of the angle that's opposite of it. So side YZ would have an X here. Side XZ would have a Y here. That's how we name angles in geometry. So get used to that. Okay? Get used to that. All right. So we have opposites. And if you don't have opposites, law of sines won't work. You got to have a set of opposites. So we're going to do these two. So we're going to go the sine of my angle, 77, over its opposite side. What's opposite of 77? 7 equals the sine of 51 over its opposite side, x. Gonna live there? Need a drink of water? So if we cross multiply, x times the sine of 77 equals 7 times the sine of 51. This times this equals this times this. And then how do I get x alone? Divide by the sine of 77. Okay, so this is how you're going to screw this up. You're going to take 7 times the sine of 51 divided by the sine of 77 and get some wrong answer. What you need to do is take 7 times the sine of 51 and press equals. And then divide by the sine of 77 and press equals again. Then you'll get the right answer. Yep, go ahead. So x equals what when you do the math on your calculator? Because these are all going to be calculator problems today. Very few non-calculator problems. 5.6 sounds good to the nearest tenth. Okay? Got to work with opposites. Got to know how to work with opposites to do this. Okay. XZ is Y, right? So, what don't I have that I really need? Because I can go the sine of 77 over 7 equals something over Y, but what's over Y? You got to know this angle, right? So we got to find that angle. So how do we find that angle? Subtract it from 180, not divide it. Yep. So 77 and 51 is 128. 180 minus 128 is 52. So this is a 52-degree angle. So you take the sine of 52 right there. So cross multiply. 7 times the sine of 52 equals y times the sine of 77. And to get y alone, divide by the sine of 77. So it's a 7 times the sine of 52, press equals, divided by the sine of 77, press equals, and what do you get? 5.7.
Sorry to interrupt you. The math for Southeast Tech that you teach, or for
Math 100?
Math 100.
Yeah.
And that counts as a credit.
Counts as a high school credit for dual credit, and it counts as a credit for vocational schools, but not colleges.
But vocational schools?
Yes.
How much does it cost?
$120 for the credit, and then the book is about $100, so it's about $220.
But they get how many credits?
3.
3 credits. Okay, thank you. Math 100.
Okay. Okay. So on this one, C is 38, so we put a little 38 there. B is 101, so we put a little 101 there. B is 19, and we're supposed to find C. I got opposites here. Just about got opposites here, just looking for C. So when you have opposites, you're good to go. The sine of your angle, what's my angle? 101 over its opposite side, 19, equals the sine of 38 over its opposite side, C. Cross multiply. Now, some of you will learn the trick of this times this divided by this. If you're looking for a side, that's all you have to do. This times this divided by that, and you get C. All right, so what do we get? I bet it's smaller than 19. C equals 12.0. 12.0, round to the nearest tenth. Okay. Where it gets a little more difficult and where people get confused is when you're finding angles instead of sides. Okay. So 74 and 12.3 are opposites. We're good there. 12.7 is here, so let's find its opposite. Let's find S. So the sine of 74 over its opposite side, 12.3, equals the sine of S over 12.7. Now this is an S. So when we cross multiply, let's do it the old-fashioned way, yep. So we'll go 12.7 times the sine of 74 equals 12.3 times the sine of S. So we'll divide by 12.3. So take 12.7 times the sine of 74 and press equals, then divide by 12.3, press equals, and I want at least 4 decimals to this answer. 0 point something, 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 something. I want 4 decimals to it. 9921 equals the sine of S. Now, we want to know what S is. On the quiz, we had the sine of, or the tangent of something equaled an angle. So then what we have to do is when we move it to the other side, it becomes the inverse sine. So you have to go second sine. So on your calculators, if you keep this number on the calculator, that's the best. You push second and then sine and then second again, and then you push the, here we go. Then you push the little button like that. Second sine, second answer, it's called. Second sine, second answer. That's how I'll refer to it as. It's the little below the 3 button. That's the button below 3. If you do that, you're going to get your angle. What's your angle? I bet it's bigger than 74, but not much. 82.98, so it's 83 degrees. Okay? So then, once I have 2 angles, I can find the last angle. 83 plus 74 is 157. So that means there's 23 degrees left. Okay? In the sakes of time, are you good with this, or should we do one more? One more. Let's find one more angle here. One. So we want to find angle C. Side C is 26. Side A is 28. I know if measure of, it's supposed to say measure of angle A is 47. If this is 47, how do we find C? We have opposites and opposites. So the sine of 47 over its opposite side, 28, equals the sine of C over 26. Okay, so 26 times, because we're cross multiplying, times the sine of 47 equals 28 times the sine of C. We'll divide by 28. So remember, 26 sine of 47, press equals, and then divided by 28. And then you get a 4 decimal number, 0 point something, 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 something. 6791 equals the sine of C. And then when you move the sine to the other side, it becomes the inverse sine. So go second sine, second answer. And you get C equals 42.68. Okay. That's the basics of what we're doing. We're finding side lengths by using the law of sines, and we're finding angles by using the law of sines. Okay. So I will put out the assignment here in a second.